This lesson shows you how to access your contacts on your iPad. Learn how to import contacts from other systems, add new details, edit and delete existing contact information, sync with iCloud, and link to other accounts. So one of the first things you might want to do is import some existing contacts to use with your iPad. So if you're using Google Contacts or Outlook contacts or some sort of Windows contacts, then you don't want to be entering them all in one by one. You want to export them from your existing contacts manager and import them to your iPad. And the easiest way is to do this whole process on the iPad. So I use Gmail and I have Google Contacts. So if I open Safari and then go to Google Contacts, and I know in Google Contacts that if I tap more, that I can export the contacts. And the format that you need to export in for iPad or iPhone is the vCard format. So I need to tap that one and select it. And I can export all my contacts or some of them or some groups. It depends on what contact manager you're using as to the options that you'll get. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to tap export. And on the iPad, as soon as you export contacts in the correct format, and it's downloading a VCF file, which is the vCard file, and all of my 500 and so contacts are in that file. And then I can open them in the Contacts app. Now, I'm not going to do that now because that will import them into my Contacts app and they'll therefore will duplicate what I already have. And there are other ways to get contacts into your iPad. Someone may have emailed you a contact. So if I went into my mail, here is a email that Linda Barron has received from me, which has a contact. And all I've done is shared a contact from my Contacts app, and we'll show you how to do that in a minute. So any contact can be shared in your email, then all I have to do is tap that. And then I can add to existing contact that information or create a new one. In any email that you've received, if you tap and hold the sender of that email, so at the top here, let go, you can create a contact from that email sender. So I can create a new contact or I can add to an existing contact. So I'm going to create a new contact and it puts any information it can find from that email. So it's got the name of the person and the website and anything else it can find. There's nothing else there. You can add all that later. And then I can tap done. That's now added to my contacts. Now I can share a contact with other people. So I go into my Contacts app and here I want to share that contact with somebody else. So when you actually tap the contact entry, there is a share contact. And you can share it either by text message or by email. So I shared it by mail. And it puts that vCard into the mail message, it puts the subject in, and then all you've got to do is address it and send it. So there's a few ways to share existing contacts with other people, import your own contacts from email messages or from some email that somebody sent to you, or export them and import them. Now, once you've got your contacts, you must make sure that they're backed up. And the easiest way to do that is using iCloud. So in Settings, there is an iCloud setting, and you should make sure that Contacts is turned on. Then anytime you need to reinstall the information from your iPad, or you get a new iPad and you don't want to be entering everything in or exporting all the contacts back again, as soon as you sign into your iCloud account, all of these accounts and settings and information will be pushed back down to your new device. Then in your mail account, so we go into Mail, Contacts, Calendar. When you add a mail account to your iPad, there's also a calendar setting and a note setting and a contact setting. So I use Gmail. So this is my main primary Gmail account. And I use Google Contacts, and I want those contacts to be used on my iPad. So I sync them from my Google Mail account to my iPad, and then that in turn is synced up to iCloud. So let's add a new contact. So tap the plus, and putting in the name, first name. Now you can add numerous phones, different phones. So if I tap add phone and put a home phone number in, if it didn't want that to be a home number, you tap that home link. It gives you all the different other possible types of phone numbers it could be. So maybe it's a work fax. So just tapping that link, they're going to make it a work phone number. Then I can add another phone number. So now I want to add a mobile phone number. And tap home and make that mobile. So you can do that for multiple phones. You can do the same with email. You can add an email. And then again, tap the home button. Now, what sort of email is it? Is it a work email? Is it a home email? An iCloud? You can have different labels that you can put on it. You can edit and add some different ones or delete them. So I'm never going to be using MySpace, so I'm going to delete that label. So you can have multiple emails. You can have ringtones. So the ringtone, there's a default, or you can have different ringtones. So when a message comes in from this person, I can have a different ringtone for that particular person. You can do that for every one of your contacts or just a couple of contacts. You can add a text tone. So if you're going to be sending a text or receiving a text from that person, you can have a text tone. Tap done. You can add a URL. So if they've got a website, you can add the website of their URL. And again, you've got multiple types of website. Is it a work website, a home website, for example? You can add multiple websites. You can add their address. So you've got your street, suburb, postcode and country. And again, you tap that. It's different types of addresses. It can be a home address, a work address, another address, or you can add a custom label and put in a specific type of address. So maybe it's the shop they own's address. If you want to delete something, if I want to delete the home address, you just tap on that red circle and delete. So you can have multiple addresses. You can add a birthday. So if this was somebody whose birthday you wanted to remember, if I'm going to add that birthday, so let's make it 28th of June, and you can scroll around till you find the right year. So say it's here, and then done. Then that birthday can be added into your calendar, and then you can be given a reminder when that person's birthday occurs. Now you can tap again birthday, and you've got different types of birthday. Islamic, Hebrew, Chinese, or just your normal birthday. You can add multiple birthdays. You can add a date, and that date can be some special occasion. So I've got anniversary, other. You can add your own in there, but add special dates. Let's delete that. Related names. So if you wanted to have be using things like Siri, where you might say, phone my husband, then you could actually add a related name so that Siri knew who your husband was. So if I do add related name, say you've got all these different things, mother, father, brother, so spouse, say, I could say this is my spouse, and I could put that person's name in, tapping the I, it'll take you to your contacts list. Let's pick John. So that person is now your spouse, so that if I was to use reminders or use calendar or Siri, and I can put in an event or an instruction that says, contact my spouse, then it knows who your spouse is because you've set it up as a related name. You can add a social profile, so you can put all your Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all your social network contacts. So I can have my Twitter one, then I can add another one, so you can have multiple information there. You can add instant message. So you could have your Skype handle, your Google Talk handle, whatever you use. So if I'm using Skype, then what's my Skype name? You can add notes, know about that person. So if you want to remember who she is, just she owns the pet shop, whatever it happens to be. Put any notes you want there. Then you can add your own fields. So maybe you want to put nickname or job title or department. So you can add more of your own. At the very top, you can add a photo. So you can either take a photo with your camera or choose a photo from your camera roll. So let's make this Linda, and you can scale it and move it. Choose that photo, and now that becomes Linda, so that when Linda pops up in any of the other related applications, you'll see her photo, and then you type done. So here's Linda's entry in the contacts, and it's quite detailed. All those things are detailed. So you could send her a message, and then it's going to ask you which number do you want to send her a message, because I put in a work number and a mobile number. So you can say which one you want. I want to send it a mobile. It's going to open up the message app, and then you can and put the number in because it's related to your contacts. You can tap your message and send it. So many other apps will integrate with contacts, and some of the apps that you download, you'll get a message to indicate, allow access to contacts. Now, if it's asking you that, then generally it's going to need your contacts to be able to function. And what you've done is grant permission for that app to use your contacts. You can see what apps you've given that permission to by going to settings and into privacy. And then for my contacts, these are all the apps here that I've granted access to my contacts, and you can see the types of apps they are. Like for dictation, for example, I can grant that by sliding it, so I must have said no when I installed it. Why you might say yes is because in dictation you can record whatever note you want, and then you can email that to somebody. Now, in order to email it, the app needs to be able to access your contacts to select a contact for you. So anything you don't want access to, if you want to revoke access, you just turn it off. If you want to turn it back on, you just slide it on. So you can go in and out of providing permission. So in this lesson, we took a look at the Contacts app. Contacts works very closely with calendars and mail. And a lot of the bundled apps that come with the iPad are going to make use of all those three apps. So that's all for this lesson.